Today, the Nobel Peace Prize winner president brought his rationale for a new war on terrorism to the United Nations. He also interestingly used the occasion to mention some of America's own problems. Let's go now to Chief White House correspondent Ed Henry and the president's comments to the United Nations that raised some eyebrows here in Washington. Good evening, Ed.
Good evening, Brett. Before the speech, some of the president's aides were saying this was a chance to showcase American leadership on the world stage, but for some reason, the president also highlighted what he suggested were America's failings in Ferguson, Missouri. As President Obama tries to broaden the coalition to destroy ISIS, he's trying to win over allies still on the fence, in part because they're concerned about his long-term commitment to the fight. Though today he said while ISIS is a cancer he'll help root out, this is not really the dominant part of his agenda.
I have made it clear that America will not base our entire foreign policy on reacting to terrorism. Instead, we've waged a focused campaign against al-Qaeda and its associated forces. And when it comes to America and Islam, there is no us and them, there is only us, because millions of Muslim Americans are part of the fabric of our country.
Despite the continued effort to slam former President George W. Bush's war on terror, this president has his own explaining to do. 1 year ago from this very podium, he took a victory lap.
Today, all of our troops have left Iraq. Next year, an international coalition will end its war in Afghanistan, having achieved its mission of dismantling the core of al-Qaeda that attacked us on 9/11.
This year, the president is saying something much different. The remnants of al-Qaeda are dangerous enough to strike the American homeland. So he launched a new war in Iraq and Syria and used the address here to issue a plea to the world to join the coalition, backed up by an emotional French President François Hollande, moments after he confirmed an ISIS-aligned group in Algeria had beheaded a French hostage.
When faced with his barbaric acts, faced with his terrorism, will we remain spectators?
The French have conducted airstrikes over Iraq, but not Syria. And a similar promise came today from the Netherlands, raising questions about NATO members not stepping up. Why haven't European allies joined the military fight?
I think you will see European allies joining the U.S. also when it comes to the military operation.
In a curious moment, the president said he understands why critics think America can't call out others over violent extremism because of trouble within our own borders, as he tied ISIS's atrocities to the shooting of the unarmed black 18-year-old Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri.
In a summer marked by instability in the Middle East and Eastern Europe, I know the world also took notice of the small American city of Ferguson, Missouri, where a young man was killed and a community was divided. So yes, we have our own racial and ethnic tensions.
Now, reporters later pressed on why the president would drag Ferguson, an ongoing legal matter, into this story. Aides had to clarify the president was just trying to point out America is not always perfect in its own domestic affairs. Brett?
Ed Henry traveling with the president at the United Nations. Ed, thank you.